I wasn't in a clear state of mind. So worked for the company for 4 years, and it felt like every morning. It probably wasn't every morning, but I'd get out of the shower and just, the Lord was talking to me, right? I mean, I would have this idea, I'd have that idea, and Sydney would get so jealous of like just how things would come to me, right? And it was just that quiet time in the morning, and it was uninterrupted, and just was so blessed and didn't really realize it, how clearly the Lord was speaking to me. Roughly 2 months ago, agreed to step away from my position with the company I was working for, and had nothing planned, had no leads, and really just took a leap of faith, I would say, for the first time in a long time, honestly. And so I just knew that it wasn't the right position for me. And so walked away, and for the last 2 months, I've been spending time on myself, enjoying time, but then also applying for jobs. So it's not a great market right now to be applying. So there's been a lot of no's, a lot of not even getting interviews. And I think it's really been testing me recently of just, trusting the process, trusting the Lord that everything's going to work out, and also growing to learn how to hear no more often. There's been good days and bad days. And I would say the bad days, it's hard. You get told no, you don't get an interview, and I had a plan of how everything was going to work out. I wasn't in a healthy position emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and I had to be honest with that, and I had to be honest that I have to trust the Lord and what He's doing in me and through me and for me in the future. And I've felt embarrassed certain days of like, my wife's working and I'm just staying at home type of thing. And I think that's where I've just realized recently is we are formed by different things in society, and I have to know that the Lord's working in me right now, and it's not about the title. It's not about, a certain company or job. And I think I've come to terms with that recently, but right off the bat, when I walked away, I struggled with that. I was prideful of, I had all these accomplishments, I had this experience, and I can go and get a job on my own. And I've been humbled in that aspect as well of it's not in control, and maybe I do need to lean on people. And I think that was hard at first, to admit that I don't have a job, to admit that I need help, to admit that I've been told no. And I think you have to come to terms with the truth. And I think that's why I've gotten a lot of no's is, early on I was still applying for those titles and those salaries. Mm-hmm. And that's not who I am, right? And, and I think that's something that Sydney and I have acknowledged is we probably put our careers as too much priority. And let's take a step back and reflect on what we need, what we want. And, it's not the title, it's not the compensation. We know that we're going to be happy if we're doing what we love. I can't be the one in control. And I think that's what I've taken away from this whole season right now is it's been challenging. It hasn't been fun, but I know that I'm growing throughout it. I think that's where I try to reflect back and say, okay, what is the Lord doing in me right now? And it doesn't make sense now. But there's been a lot of things that have happened in my life where it's hard and it doesn't make sense. And then I look back and I'm like, that's why that worked out the way that it did.